first of all, we are rolling a recording for broadcast. What's your reaction to the legislature's decision on your Attorney General appointment?
No, I don't think the legislators who voted against Wayne Anthony Ross made themselves look real good to a lot of Alaskans. Alaskans, I believe, have always wanted and deserve a candidate there who is a strong backer of Second Amendment rights. That's very important to most Alaskans. Someone who's a staunch supporter of our state constitution, a defender of life. Wayne has always supported responsible ethical development of our resources, and for them to kind of play this politics of personal destruction and voting him down for reasons that I believe haven't been clearly articulated yet. Even my take on a lot of this, Mike, is that I believe some of these lawmakers feared someone coming in and cleaning house, and these are the same legislators who supported him just last year. They praised him in a citation, and lawmakers as a whole said, he's created things in sliced bread. That was just a year ago. Don't know what has changed in this year, except there's been some harsh, obsessive partisanship, I think, that has come into play on this selection process, and that's a shame.
Governor, there had been some tough questions for Mr. Ross during some of the confirmation hearings, and there seemed to be quite a strong reaction to a comment he made to some reporters yesterday when he said, it seems to me the most important thing that can be done by the Senate is not to argue with legal or illegal, but to appoint somebody to represent Juneau. A lot of lawmakers interpreted that as him saying, hey, the legislature doesn't need to worry about the law, just fill the seat.
No, he meant the complete opposite of that, Mike. What he has said is lawmakers, in terms of replacing the Senate B seat down there in Juneau, he said, lawmakers, it kind of doesn't matter how you've done it in the past. Now, with a new tariff in town, if you will, we want to make sure it's done right henceforth. And lawmakers, the Senate Democrats, have decided that they want to ignore still aspects of the Open Meetings Act and legal opinion from '87, and have decided to do it their way. What Wayne Ross has said since the beginning of this confirmation process, the selection process, has said, we're going to abide by the Constitution. We are going to follow the letter of the law, and that is what he has asked senators to do.
Governor, kind of related to all this, there's been a lot of press coverage, a lot of back and forth between you and the Democrats down in Juneau over this particular seat. Now we've got the rejection of your Attorney General appointment, and again, a lot of questions, raised about your choice of Wayne Anthony Ross. Do you feel that, I guess, the political tug of war and turmoil we've seen, especially in the last couple of weeks of the session, do you feel that that's hurting you with Alaska voters? What impact do you think that's having on your image?
No, Mike, you just asked the question regarding questioning the selection of Wayne Ross as AG. Keep in mind, the lawmakers who voted against him are the lawmakers who praised him just 12 months ago in that citation. Now, there's a bit of hypocrisy there. If they were to take the time and make the effort to say he is a great Alaskan and he does abide by the Constitution and he loves Alaska, and they articulated the reasons in that citation a year ago, and then 12 months later to have flip-flopped on that is, I think, quite telling in regards to that politics of personal destruction that I mentioned. And I think it's a sad day for Alaska that lawmakers have failed to confirm him. He a staunch defender to the end of the day of Alaska and all that we cherish and value and represent. I can think of no better candidate than Wayne Anthony Ross, and he is held in high esteem by so many Alaskans, not just me, including those lawmakers who voted in that citation last year praising him.
Well, again, back to my question, how do you think all of this is, or do you think it's impacting your image with Alaskans in terms, I mean, you stood your ground, very strongly on the Juneau seat. Mike,
what you saw on that was an open process. See, we didn't do it behind closed doors. We didn't negotiate and play games with Senate Democrats behind closed doors. We've done this out in the open, so you've kind of been able to witness how the sausage is made. You got to see via these letters that we made public to Senate Democrats saying, look, you didn't give me any choices. We're going to go out and vet some candidates and do some interviews and provide ourselves good choices to represent Juneau. Again, we didn't do that behind closed doors. We put these in letters and then the Senate Democrats, knowing that they would go to the press and they would go to Alaskans with these letters. That's what you are seeing is an open, transparent process. That's why you say these last couple of days we've seen a lot of back and forth. Precisely, Alaskans deserve to see how this process works. And the process was filling that Senate seat, as we have made it open and transparent, is saying, look, Juneau should not go without representation. And it looks to us like Senate Democrats are quite dug in and only wanting their one pick or a placeholder for their one pick to be able to serve in that seat. We've wanted to follow tradition, protocol, and the law by an open process with choices. The governor appoints, then these senators confirm in the light of day. That's what you witnessed.
Governor, let's talk about your trip, if you have a minute, down to Indiana. Some might interpret this as, another step toward a possible run for president. Can you shed any more light as to what your intentions are for, say, the governor's race or possibly running for president?
I think I've answered that many times, and my focus is on the state of Alaska and serving Alaskans in the best possible manner, day in and day out. My trip here to Indiana is the second trip that I have taken out of state, and other governors travel much more than I have traveled. I just got out of a great meeting that I had with TransCanada and TC Alaska's plants for the gas line, and that was very valuable to be able to do that while I traveled out of state. And now tonight to get to celebrate life and this Right to Life dinner, it means a lot to me. It means a lot to my constituents also in Alaska who want to see that effort towards a culture of life, not just in our state but across America, being celebrated. That's what I get to do tonight. And then tomorrow, getting to celebrate families who have children with special needs and Down syndrome specifically is what we'll be celebrating tomorrow. It's a good thing for Alaska. And spreading that good Alaskana message is a good thing for our state. And I'm heading out to that event right now, so I have to go, but focusing always on Alaska. And in my speech tonight, Mike, as everybody knows, whenever and wherever I go, I'm talking about Alaska. I'm talking about the resources that we have ready to develop, to contribute to the United States, to allow us to be more independent and more secure. I'll be talking a lot about that tonight, in addition to talking about a culture of life that I believe we're all ready to embrace.
And one last question, if I can impose on you. On that point of these trips, you said that you want to present, Alaskans in the best possible way. Some have questioned as to whether this trip, some have questioned whether you're putting your own political aspirations ahead of your duties as governor. What's your response to that?
We'll be more specific. How would being gone for this day, I'll be back in the Capitol building tomorrow, how will being gone this day talking about Alaska, talking about something that's very important to me and to a lot of Alaskans, a culture of life, how is that not good for Alaska, or how is that putting my duties as governor aside? I've traveled outside of the capital city, 16 days total out of the session. Other governors averaged 40, 45 days out of the capital city during the session. No, first and foremost are to Alaska, and they will continue to be so.